If I had a dollar for every terrible purchase I have ever made, I could afford to make a lot more terrible purchases. Hey kids, welcome back to the channel. I am Uncle Frank and I hope that you are having a great day. In the world of trading cards and collectible card games in general, there are kind of two misconceptions that I feel get maybe not repeated a lot, but occur frequently. And the strange thing is, they're both kind of the same misconception. It's just that they have different contexts around them, which I feel like affect people's buying and collecting habits. Now, the first one is a bit more subdued. It's not brought up a whole lot in conversations, and people don't tend to harp on about it. But there's a lot of people online in the collecting community who seem to be of the opinion that cheaper cards, especially bulk cards, aren't worth collecting. And then the second one is that modern cards, for any card game really, but usually Pokemon, Magic, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Aren't worth collecting either, just because they won't have the value of their vintage counterparts. Now, while I do feel like both of these misconceptions are essentially arguing the same thing, in that it's not worth it to buy cheap, low-value cards, I'm going to tackle each of them individually because there is different responses to each of these claims. The idea that it's just not worth it to collect cheaper cards in general is very strange to me as somebody who's grown up with cards and has fallen in love with a variety of cards that have always been either cheap or had more expensive copies in different prints. You see, there's a lot of different things that can cause you to fall in love with a card. Maybe it was your pet card in a deck, maybe it synergized well with a certain strategy you were trying at some point, or maybe, for instance, in Pokemon, it could be a card of your favorite Pokemon. In Magic, you can just really like the foiling they were using for that specific set, and that card happened to make that foiling look really good. In Yu-Gi-Oh!, maybe you just really liked how that card worked with one specific deck, or maybe you liked the secret rare pattern on that card. And none of these reasons have anything to do with the particular value of the card. It's certainly true that the more people value a card, the more expensive that card will be, just because more people want to get their hands on it. But the idea that a card can't be something you want in your collection just for value alone, I don't like that idea. I think that there can be any number of reasons you want cards in your collection, and to only seek cards that are expensive, rare, famous, noteworthy, etc., it's kind of like a fool's errand to me, because you're skipping out on so many beautiful pieces of cardboard that you can have on display. Let me give you a good example. What we have here is the Total Defense Shogun from Yu-Gi-Oh's earliest set of collector's tins. Now, this bad boy is not a particularly impressive card gameplay-wise, and he's not memorable for being in the anime or anything like that, but it's still one of my favorite cards. It's a secret rare, and if you look closely, you'll notice that the secret rare is not across the entire card art. It's only for the armor and weapons, which I think is a really unique quality. I'm personally a fan of this card because its effect, the ability to attack in defense mode, I think is just absolutely amazing, but as time wore on, I grew to be in love with this particular style of foiling for creatures, and I came to value this guy more as a result. This isn't a very expensive card, maybe like $1 or $2, but it's something that I'm very proud to have in my collection, and that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Now, this other idea that modern collectible cards just aren't worth it is also strange to me, because the people who make this claim argue from an idea that, well, all of the vintage cards are more valuable and more impressive to have. And that's certainly true. After all, a Pokemon card printed 10, 15 years ago is almost certainly going to have more value and more prestige in having that in your collection than a Pokemon card of the same Pokemon in your collection that was just released last month. However, it's important to remember that part of the prestige, part of the value of that card is just time. And that card was not always worth whatever its value is now. There are cards released 15 years ago that were dollar cards, penny cards even, that are worth a lot more than that now, just because over time their collectible value has gone up. And I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that there are cards seeing print today in various card games that are very cheap right now, and that in 5 to 10 year time, those cards are going to be highly sought after collector pieces. Maybe not the stuff from Magic the Gathering, but you get my point. Now, both of these misconceptions stem from the idea that it's better to have more valuable, more prestigious items in your collection, and to a certain extent, I do agree with that. I do think it's a good idea to have whatever your chase card, whatever your trophy is on display. However, a collection is more than just its most valuable item, and having a wide variety of the cards you like for whatever reason is just good to have. After all, variety is the spice of life, and having a lot of cheap cards that you love for various reasons, whether it's sentimental value, memories of your tournament days, or maybe you just like the art, is always good to have for a thriving collection, because there are going to be months where you can't afford to buy some $100, $500 card, and you're going to be sitting there with $20 in your hand going, I wonder what I could get with this. And you're going to find a bunch of cards at the very low price range that are going to look nice in your collection regardless of their value. At the end of the day, what matters most to your collection is how you feel about it and what you value in the cards you're displaying, collecting, etc. So if you are the kind of person who does think that you only want those high value cards in your collection, then it's not up to me to tell you that that's wrong. However, if you're the kind of person going around online telling other people that it's a waste of time or a waste of money to buy and collect and display those cheaper cards, well, then I am going to tell you that you're wrong, because there's all sorts of cards out there, cheap and expensive, that are just really cool to have on display regardless of, monetary value. You can like their art, you can like their history, you can have sentimental value, and all kinds of other things. And that's really all I've got to say about it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. As always, please like, share, and subscribe to the video. And remember, I am trying to lose weight, so for every like this video gets, I will do one push-up in the next video. My previous video got 51 likes. Oh boy. $10. 20. Ooh, that's 25. This one might have been a mistake. Oh boy. All right, the other half. $10. $20. I'm very glad that I never said that I'd do it all at once. Final lap. Woo. All right, so maybe I won't do push-ups in all of these videos. Woo. See you kids in the next one.